What is up, gang? Nathan coming back at you with another Pokemon Showdown Live. We're back and playing more Monotype. Today, I counted all the votes, and it looks like Poison is finally going to win out and be what we're playing today. As usual, before we get into it, I'm going to leave a quick, brief breakdown on what the playstyle for Poison looks like. For the most part, of course, there's always different playstyles you can do. I'm not going to say you have to play one way or you have to play another way, but when I look at the mono poison typing and when I see the characteristics of what it provides, the first thing that jumps at me is going to be how well it conduces itself towards a stall playstyle, because these three Pokemon right here are excellent Pokemon in any metagame, let alone a monotype. They have Regenerator. For those that don't know, it restores 1/3 of your health, rounded down when you switch out. So you can swap between these three Pokemon endlessly and keep regenerating health, which is fantastic. These are also just three really good defensive Pokemon in their own right. Toxapex is one of the best Walls Pokemon's ever seen. You know, you switch a Rocky Helmet into a Urshifu Rapid Strike, and your Urshifu's taking almost double the damage you are. In addition, we are helped against enemy offense with the Scald, threatening burns, Toxic Spikes, which completely annihilates enemy offense too, in addition to Haze to prevent people from setting up on us. Depending on what the Volcarona is, we can even beat a Psychic Volcarona with Haze. It's really important, really helpful. But speaking about helping with enemy special attackers, Slowking Galar with an Assault Vest is about as good as it gets. Unbelievably powerful when it comes to its highest PDEF. Really, really hard to break. Again, Regenerator, you can pivot in, pivot it out. Future Sight will give us a huge amount of help with breaking Mons. When I've used Mono Poison teams, it is incredible how many notches and how many kills you get just with Slowking Galar's Future Sight. Really unbelievable way to navigate around your opponents. I made a video on Future Sight, by the way. If it seems like it doesn't make so much sense why Future Sight would be good, make sure to check that out, because it's about to be a key part of balanced and slower metagames work. Even when you're using offense, just getting the right fork going so you can force your opponent to make a bad swap and you get a kill no matter what. Really, really important. Slowking Galar's actually got decent special attack, and when you combine that with a really great move pool, you can break all kinds of Pokemon. The question is kind of, again, we're going to come into this eventually, but a Magma Storm Heatran really gives this team trouble. And so you could opt to actually do Earthquake instead of Scald here. Scald is great because you can fish for burns. Really helps you get certain types like Mono Rock or even some Mono Grounds, things like that. Scald is super useful, but for Heatran alone, you almost want Earthquake. It's kind of troublesome because if they Magma Storm into an Earth Power, just about nobody can handle that. And it's really troublesome because the only ground resist we're going to have is going to be weak to special attacking moves. That's going to be Weezing Galar. Eventually, I'll kind of spoil that. And yeah, you can't swap into a Magma Storm there either, and the Earth Power will clean up just about anything else. So it's a big problem. So Slowking Galar, you might want to do EQ in that situation. And last but not least, in this kind of Regenerator core we've got going on. And again, I should mention that in a lot of matchups, these three alone can kind of carry you. It's amazing how good they are. But we do have Amoonguss here. Amoonguss does need... Ooh, I think this needs to be max defense unless I'm mistaken. Glad I caught that, because Amoonguss is going to be huge against the Excadrill matchup. Mono Poison, of course, you're weak to ground. We are going to give us some help against ground. I'll kind of spoil it right now. We're going to put Weezing Galar with Levitate because you're just going to get smoked by Mono Ground anyways, or any sort of ground type Mon. However, Levitate is ignored by Excadrill using the Mold Breaker ability. Mold Breaker is really good. It ignores enemy abilities. So in this case, Excadrill's Earthquake would ignore Levitate. So we need Amoonguss in that case. Amoonguss can swap into this when it's running heavy-duty boots, take like 40-45%, and go for... Ooh, I don't like Sludge Bomb here either. I'm glad I caught a lot of this. Holy... I'll do Synthesis. Yeah, Synthesis, you can Synthesis up, you can Spore on them. Spore, for my money, is the best move in competitive Pokemon for a couple generations now. It's unbelievable. Spore is essentially forcing a Pokemon to be useless for a couple turns. It's going to be really helpful when you don't know if your opponent's swapping. For example, I'll be playing against Mono Water, and I'm not sure, do I want to Giga Drain on this Urshifu? But what if they go to their Pelipper? Because Pelipper's only take about 30% from Giga Drain. I don't know what to do. If I just click Spore, it's a no-brainer, easy play. I guarantee you get something punished in the long term for that, so it's going to be really helpful. But again, super strong initial core here. I actually had to play, I'll tell you right now, I'm acting like I'm a true expert of Mono Poison. I almost never played it, but knowing that this was going to get voted in for this live, I've been playing a lot the last 24-48 hours, and I've kind of got a bit of grasp of it, because, you know, Stall's easy to play at lower levels, but once you kind of get to the higher ladder, you really need to know your matchups backwards and forwards. For example, I mentioned that Excadrill and Amoonguss matchup. I was stupid, and I swapped into my Weezing going, oh yeah, it's got Levitate, it's fine. I forgot about Mold Breaker. And my Weezing Galar was dead, and then I didn't have the Weezing Galar for, I believe I needed it for something down the road, and I was just, my whole team fell apart. The way that Stall works, you need each piece for different matchups. If you don't have one, you won't be able to sustain long games against your opponent, and that's just going to stop you from being an effective Stall player. So Weezing Galar, we are going to do a Black Sludge here. It's stall, so we really need as much recovery as we can get. Pain Split Wheezing Galar actually does decently well with, because its base HP is kind of low, all things considered, so Pain Split really can be quite helpful. We're also going to run Strange Steam, and I'm going to run Will-O-Wisp, and I'm going to run Defog, because it's our best option for a Defogger, and it's kind of an inconsistent Defogger. For example, it takes a lot of damage from Stealth Rocks if you're swapping into it, but having it is better than nothing for sure. Oh, definitely not Spadef heavy. I want you bold, my guy. Bold and brash. Yes, right there. There's a lot of different moves that Wheezing Galar can run. I was talking about this in my Discord recently. It can run Flamethrower, it can run Fire Blast, it can run Sludge Bomb, it can run oh, what am I forgetting? Something else about it. Toxic Spikes as well. It can run all kinds of fantastic moves. But this is kind of the best one. Again, I think you need Defog. Will-O-Wisp, if you're going to get rid of one, it would probably be Will-O-Wisp. Maybe you run like a Sludge Bomb or a Fire move here, but I kind of like it. Same thing with the Moongus and Foul Play here. I like the idea of you swap in with a max Phys Def Mon. And so you're obviously matching up well versus physical attackers already with these maxed out physical defense. And then you threaten them out immediately with a Will-O-Wisp, for example. So I kind of like that interaction that happens between those two. And but next up, so again, we look at these Pokemon and we go, okay, great, that shores up one of Poison's two big weaknesses. The first one is ground. So between a Moongus for Excadrill and Wheezing for most other ground type attackers, we can kind of handle ground type attacks fine. But what's the other weakness that Poison's going to have? That is going to be Psychic. So Slowking Galar is neutral to Psychic, but still, if a Tapu Fini swaps in and it's dropping a Specs terrain boosted Psychic, it's not going to be a very good long-term answer. And it's also outsped, so it's getting in 2 hits at least on your Slowking Galar. It's really not a good, consistent long-term answer. So we are going to need a Drapion here. And there's lots of sets that Drapion can run very effectively. Like you could run like a focused energy sniper set. You could run a Scarf set, is very popular on these teams. I'm going to do the most basic defensive one possible because, again, if you're playing against a smart enemy psychic type Pokemon, this Drapion's going to be swapping in a lot, and it's not going to have a lot of opportunities to return fire. So I'm actually just going to do rest and sleep talk here. I want this thing living as long as possible. I don't care if it does nothing but swap in and rest like 10 turns a game. As long as I can slowly kind of accumulate pressure on my opponent, that's all I care about. This thing needs to just sustain a long game. That's the point of stall. We are not trying to defeat our opponent by knocking them all out. You're trying to outlast them by slowly accumulating a little chip with hazards here, status there, maybe a Scald there. Like that's the kind of the game plan of stall. I'll break down something briefly on how stall works in a second, but let's finish rounding out this team right here. But I'm also going to do knockoff, really good ability, especially in stall. If you come up against enemy stall, knockoff's going to become even more important because being the first team to strip off the enemy's items can really add up in the long term when it comes to playing stall. Definitely want that. We can do Poison Jab here. We could even do Toxic Spikes here and free up the Toxic Spikes to run like a Baneful Bunker or something if we wanted to, or a knockoff, or all kinds of things. I quite like Whirlwind. This Drapion that we're going to do right now, again, we are mostly worried about special attackers with this Drapion. So I want to make it especially defensive for sure. And when it comes to that, you are often swapping in on Pokemon that are setting up on you. So Whirlwind can really help out. And if you have Toxic Spikes up, you can kind of force a bad matchup for your opponent. Maybe get an extra knockoff going in that situation. Maybe you get a Toxic on something that wasn't supposed to be toxic, like a Weavile or whatever. Whirlwind puts in surprising amount of work on this team. And, Drapion hits, it's not fantastic, but when fully invested, Spadef is not bad. If you can take I think you can take 3 Tapu Fini Scarf Moonblast, which is helpful. So something to consider. If you ever run against a like a Calm Mind, I said Fini earlier, I meant Lele, I'm sorry. But if you ever run across a non-choice locked Lele, I ran across a Calm Mind Draining Kiss one. That can get kind of nasty. And again, in terms of really specific things, a Life Orb, Excadrill can 2-hit KO our entire team. So that would be pretty bad too. But anyways, food for thought here, food for thought. Let's go on to our last one right now. And that is going to be Nidoking. So Nidoking doesn't really contribute much to stall. It's always nice to have a strong physical breaker, or special in this case, but it's always nice to have a strong breaker when you're using stall. For sure, maybe a speed control. You could even make the case that this should be scarfed. But the fact is, Nidoking is just really, really good on poison. It's less so its interactions with stall, and more so it's just very, very good. Because when you look at Nidoking, especially when modest, which is what we are going to do, at least that's what I'm going to do. But when you look at Nidoking, and you look at its move pool between Earth Power, and we're going to do Sludge Bomb or Wave. Oh, that's a tough call. It's got to be Sludge Wave, actually, doesn't it? And then we'll also do, I think, Ice Beam and Thunderbolt. You can make a case for Flamethrower instead of Ice Beam, but Ice Beam is going to help you out a lot against the very common mono flying teams, even mono dragon teams. So I'm probably gonna run Ice Beam over Flamethrower. We don't care about Mono Steel quite as much as I would think otherwise, but the point I'm slowly getting towards here is that Nidoking is very, very good on these teams because what often is a problem with Nidokings, let's say I'm playing an OU game, and I'm not sure if, oh man, I'm not sure if my opponent's gonna go to Tornadus Therian, if they're going to Volcarona. I need to guess, and if you guess wrong, let's say I Earth Power expecting a Volcarona and Tornadus Therian comes in, I'm kind of threatened out in some of those situations, depending on Nidoking's health, of course, or, you know, if I Ice Beam on the Volcarona expecting Tornadus, then I'm forced to swap out from a threat of a Psychic or even a Quiver Dance into a whole sweep sort of scenario. There's lots of things to be afraid of, whereas Nidoking in this situation, if we're against Mono Steel, for example, I am probably clicking Earth Power. Mono Steel is kind of a bad example, but like if I'm against a Mono Water team, I'm probably clicking Thunderbolt, assuming that their ground type Pokemon is dead. Or if I'm up against Mono Electric, I'm probably clicking Earth Power. When you take out that indecision of which move you click, and you're just going into a game and you go, okay, Nidoking's Earth Power is great this game, or Nidoking's Sludge Wave is great this game. You take out that guessing, it is breaking extremely effectively. And it's no question that with Sheer Force and Life Orb and its modest stats here, it can break a lot of teams super well. So Nidoking just is like not a huge stall type Pokemon per se, but just a really good Pokemon in Mono Poison in general. I think it's just one of those mons that goes really well in the tier, but it's definitely going to still contribute in a stall team for sure. Just don't get me wrong. There's going to be lots of situations where I go, okay, I need to kind of force a trade here, and Nidoking is great at doing that. And anyways, I'm excited to have it on the team. This is one of those cases where I'm probably not going to do a team building session for Mono Stall because this is about as standard as it gets. As I kind of broke down, this triple regenerator core is really, really key to how it functions. And if that's the case, then you need Drapion and Weezing to help against those key weaknesses. So again, arguably, if you're going to trade something out, it's likely going to be Nidoking, maybe a Moongus, but that Spore Moongus is so helpful. And again, the extra matchup and yada yada. But you can make the case that maybe you go Tentacruel here, or you go Nihilego, or you go for a Gengar. Like if you're going to swap something out, it's probably Nidoking. I just don't quite like that myself because I think that Nidoking is so good in Mono Poison in general. But that's enough of me talking. Let's go into the actual game here. I did want to mention, though, that I think that people misunderstand how you play against Stall in general. I'm due for a video on how to beat Stall in general. You know, maybe not a clickbait, this is how you beat Stall video, but maybe something going more in depth and talking about, you know, I've always got this theory about how in Pokemon, the games always come down to you are trying to damage your opponent's position or you're trying to improve or maintain your own. And that's not a decision or a balance that you have to worry about very much at all when you're playing offense against enemy offense. I mean, you just go like, okay, what is the move that I can do that's the most effectively going to diminish my opponent's position? That's pretty easy. Maybe you're playing a bulky offense and there's an obvious swap like, oh, I got to go to Heatran here instead of letting my Tornadus get hit by an Ice Beam. That's an obvious swap in that situation. But for the most part, you're usually just doing the play that has the most offensive oomph right now, right? But when you're playing against Stall, you have to also consider your own team's longevity too, because the nature of Stall is that you have to play their game. If I'm playing Stall against you, like this Mono Poison, this Mono Fighting team we're going against here, if they just go, you know, shit hitting the fan and going crazy and attacking us right away, they're probably gonna be in a little bit of trouble. But anyways, let's get into it right now. So we are going to be up against Mono Fighting, technically an advantage matchup. I like our odds here. I don't want rocks to get up for free with Cobalion right away. Cobalions are definitely a good rocker that you're gonna have to respect. Nidoking, as far as a lead matchup goes, does have some stuff that I like here. We're not that safe versus Keldeo, but I've got a pretty easy swap in with my Amoonguss here. We will definitely beat the Cobalion if we match up against them. If we end up against Zapdos Galar, I wouldn't like the odds of Brave Bird. I might go to Toxapex there. That's not a great swap in. If we see Urshifu off the rip, that's not very good either. If we see Hawlucha, we won't see Hawlucha. If we see Buzzwole, I don't think we'll see Buzzwole either, but that would be a fine matchup too. So if I think we're going to get Cobalion, this would be the play. Is there a mid-ground that I can make that's better against Urshifu and Zapdos, but also helps us with Cobalion? Let's take a quick look here. And Future Sight, by the way, is going to be huge on Slowking Galar. As is Weezing going to be huge for limiting Urshifu. Big thing to keep in mind. Amoonguss is going to be big for keeping Keldeo in mind. This is what I'm kind of talking about when it comes to Stall. Is once you learn these matchups and kind of like, if I was just starting playing this Mono Poison, which wasn't so long ago, I might not quickly ID, oh god, Weezing Galar, so important for Urshifu, so important. But anyways, is there a better play I can do to limit those guys? I could do my own Toxapex, which is okay versus all of these, and then offer a Toxic Spikes. That's not bad. That's not bad. Nidoking or Toxapex? I'll do Toxapex. We do get the Zapdos Galar. Pretty safe for us because I can do this and take any one hit with Regenerator and Rocky Helmet. We're hitting almost 500 defense right here. And then I'll probably be swapping out afterwards depending on what they click right now. Cobalion will come in. And do they have a Defogger? Probably not. I think Hawlucha can technically get it, but that doesn't seem very likely to me. Cobalion does come in though. Let's go to our Nidoking now. I don't think they Iron Head in this situation. I think we're almost certainly going to see Stealth Rocks. That is the case. I think I get Earth Power here because if they swap out to Zapdos Galar, that'd be a little bit gutsy. I could also Thunderbolt. It's also 2 KO and Cobalion. Thunderbolt seems pretty safe. It also covers Buzzwole swap in. So let's do that. Yeah, that covers that pretty well. Earth Power seemed a little bit weak to me. And I think we outspeed. These guys are sometimes Scarf, but I don't think I died to like an Ice Punch. So maybe I'm getting a little bit too reckless here, but I'm okay for a Thunderbolt. Body Slam, likely Scarf. Maybe not. That could just be max speed, but if you're max speed, you're probably running Scarf. That's new. That's a little bit new, but we got the Toxic Spike up. It's going to be huge in limiting the Urshifu. The Keldeo absolutely going to be big. These other 3 are not going to be affected by it. There's Cobalion back in. I still think we live in Iron Head unless we get hit by this really bad. This is about as good matchup as we're going to see for Nidoking. So yeah, I'll take that right to the bank. That's really nice. There's Hawlucha. I guess it could be Sky Attack for sure, and if looking for a good setup for that, that's fine, but I'll have Toxapex and Weezing for very fair swap-ins afterwards, and I'm just not going to let you Swords Dance on me, my guy. They Acrobatics, so they're probably close combat White Herb is what that tells me. And what do I want to do right now? Not a Moongus, probably Weezing Galar, because that would force a Keldeo swap in. Because if I go to Weezing Galar, I could even Strange Steam, to be honest, to punish that Keldeo swap in, and they're gonna forfeit. Yeah, I mean, Mono Poison's a really tough one to play against. I don't really blame my opponent. That will propel us into top 500 though. That's kind of fun. Let's see how far we can get with Mono Poison, because spoiler, I think it's very, very good. I think it's one of those top viable ones. I didn't look too much in the tournament games for Mono Poison because it's one of those cases where when I queued up, I thought, I know how Mono Poison plays. I think everyone knows. You stall, you get Toxic Spikes up. You break your opponent, but playing it well, I'm not much of a stall player. That one took me a little bit of effort, and I haven't even talked about my outfit yet. We'll have to do that after this game. I ID'd it right away. Heatran terrifies me. Look at this squad and tell me who swaps into a Magma Storm into an Earth Power. Toxapex gets trapped and died. Slowking gets trapped and died. Amoonguss, not very good. Oh, terrible. Weezing, terrible. Trapeon, maybe one of our best ones. Nidoking, if we can get it in clean, that's fine. But we're also undersped. We could be outsped, depending on what set it is. So Nidoking is going to be important here. We don't have Flamethrower. I opted for Ice Beam instead because I wanted to match it versus Flying types well. And Nidoking can still handle Mono Ground fine. But I think it's my lead right now. If anything else, I can kind of bluff a Fire move. Most importantly, I don't want to be swapping into Heatran at any point. There's the Mold Breaker Extra Drill. I did not know this relationship early on when I was learning Mono Poison, but this is the only play you can make. I could Spore. I think a Ferrothorn swap is super obvious. But I'll do it. I'll kind of establish a relationship here. So probably Weezing on the Defog, I'm guessing, but I don't like Gyro Ball. It's not awful, but I don't hate it. Problem with Weezing is that I can't even Will-O-Wisp there, and it gives a free Heatran swap in, which I don't love. Slowking Galar seems a little bit better because I do have a Flamethrower. It's actually the only fire type attack I have on this team right now. I was about to say I got a Toxapex and Toxic Spikes, but that's a terrible play, obviously. Against the Mono Steel team, completely immune. Let's do Slowking, I guess. It's so important, this matchup, for limiting that Heatran. And they could go to it right now is what I'm kind of afraid of. But I might even Scald, fish for a Burn. Burn's actually good on everyone right now. As a Protect, maybe they'll think, oh, he doesn't have Fire move if he's staying in and Scalding. Regardless, I think Heatran's a little bit out of the cards right now. They caught me with the Protect, that's for sure. Something to keep in mind with a Protect Ferrothorn. Almost certainly Leech Seed then. And if it's Leech Seed, I would almost predict Power Whip instead of Gyro Ball, because if I'm my opponent, I'd be like, I've got lots of Steel type coverage moves here. They're probably running Body Press or... Oh, wow. Oh, this is so bad. That's terrible, terrible, terrible. Let's hope that they're... I don't think I have a swap in. Okay, that doesn't seem to have that much investment, which is nice. So we are trapped. We are taking a lot from Earth Power, but if I can trade Slowkings... Oh, they're also Protect. Oh, no. That's a nightmare matchup, and I let them get Flash Fire. Again, anything else was dying at this point, but... Oh, that is nightmarish. It's at least down to, like, 60 health, but... All feature set on this Protect, except they're faster. Wow, so that's a huge, huge blow early on. Granted, it wasn't that important because it was our only fire type attack, that sucks. But Aegislash, if it was a special attacker, it's against, in terms of being a special wall, it was really only walling Heatran. And you know, Aegislash definitely, if it was Shadow Ball, it was breaking my Slowking anyways. It's weak to it, so that's a pretty rough situation. I'm not gonna lie to you all. Nidoking is the obvious play right now. I gotta threaten an Earth Power if they're max speed and killing with Earth Power just to 6-0. So maybe I should be running Earthquake on this Slowking and Galar instead. Scald puts in so much work in other matchups, but we just saw right there why that's kind of nasty. And do I overpredict and go for a Thunderbolt or something? I'm kind of inclined to do so. They protect there. Yep, get your guy up to 70%. Yeah, my Slowking Galar literally died to chip this Heatran, and it comes away with with a net 33%. That is so upsetting. They're probably going to go to Corviknight or Ferrothorn here anyways. If I'm them, I'm going to Ferrothorn, to be honest. And Earth Power might 2-hit KO, depending. We'll see. This is not pleasant, though. Corviknight comes in. I almost bet that they're bulk up. Let's see. Are they going to Brave Bird me, which I would also hate? Yeah. Oh, man. It's not looking so good. Do I Earth Power on Ferrothorn? I'm playing it safe. I'm kind of under predicting right now, but a Mono Poison, I think Mono Poison should be terrible versus Mono Steel. It's kind of one of those type of interactions where Steel is immune to poison. It sounds terrible on paper. I don't think it's that bad. If you remove this, if this Heatran is literally just a Lava Plume Heatran, this is fine. I think we're actually almost advantaged in this matchup because we can outstall them better than the opposite. They go to Extra there. Good play. They're playing it smart too. This is definitely the matchup I've had the most trouble with in my own play. And my double switch on Ferrothorn does nothing anymore, and we haven't revealed Ice Beam yet, so they don't know if we have a fire move. Boy, I'll play. I don't know. I don't have a swap in for Ferrothorn now. It's very nasty. I gotta synthesis up here. We kind of beat Ferrothorn actually, weirdly enough. We kind of can just outstall them. We're immune to Leech Seed. We'll see if they have knockoff. They do have Power Whip, like I kind of suspected there. Let's go to our Wheezing Galar. That means we're completely safe here. We are getting hit with Leech Seed, but that's fine. Yeah, I'm not going to front with you guys. It's kind of a messy path to a win right now, especially with the Heatran at the health it's at right now. I'll They're just going right back into Heatran is the thing. I just don't know what I can do to contest it. I'm going to double switch right now, hoping for Heatran. If they stay in and Power Whip, I probably lose. They Leech Seed. That's churlish. How dare you? Drapion might be able to do something going forward. Maybe Drapion is my long-term answers. They protect there. Yeah, they know what they're about. They know they win this matchup. They don't have to overpredict at all. Another Leech Seed here. Yup. I knew that as soon as my Flamethrower guy went down there. I mean, if you want to force a Mungus play, I mean, we could, I guess. I mean, sure. I don't hate it. Giga Drain. I do have the Regenerator Core, so I totally outstyle my opponent, if not for just the threat of. I'm just thinking every turn, what if Heatran swaps in? What if Heatran swaps in every turn? And I have nothing. Why are they forcing this stall? Are they trying to be vindictive and get me back here? Go to Heatran. Go to Heatran. Ah, bastard. This bastard. They know I'm trying to catch their Heatran too. If I actually did catch the Heatran with a Spore, that would be a game changer. Because actually, Amoonguss is really good in general. Really, really good. I am, if anything, almost expecting a Corviknight swapping at some point. If I'm them, I'm sacking Corviknight to Spore. And then winning the game with Heatran from there. And then Heatran can swap into this Amoonguss completely fear-free, but they just seem really content to let their Ferrothorn get chipped, and this is actually instrumental. Ferrothorn, we said we could not break without any fire moves on this team, but now they quite easily died to Nidoking. Not that Nidoking's going to be helping us out too much, but this is one of the biggest walls to our team right now. There it is. There he is, big guy. We were missing you there, Heatran. How you doing, buddy? How you doing? I might play for Magma Storm Miss. We don't get it. I said might very casually. Oh, you never. Might happen. Let's go for Earth Power on the Protect. Yeah, you're not slick. And then I could Ice Beam here. I think they swap out. They lose if they don't swap out. Maybe don't lose, but they're in a bad way. Now revealed they don't have Flamethrower though, but that's not so important now that Ferrothorn's down to 43%. All Ice Beam again. I don't want to really overpredict at this point. There's also decent odds that the Nidoking is undersped by Heatran. That is not unlikely. Oh, and I let my Amoonguss die. So yeah, Extra Drill just wins. Yep. Let's yeah, so this is just the last matchup. So now that I'm at this point in the ladder, yeah, that was a pretty clean defeat on our part. Now that at this point in the ladder, though, I mentioned before, I love Scald on Slowking Galar. I think it helps in a lot of sort of closer to neutral matchups, and it helps you break some physical attackers in case Slowking Galar is in against them. But we're going to be coming across more and more mono steel teams. I think Heatran is an instrumental part of mono steel teams, especially if they're balanced. So I'm going to make the shift to Earthquake here. It's crazy to say, but even with just a sassy nature, Earthquake can still 2-hit KO Heatran. So that matchup before just becomes completely winnable. So we'll make that change. I think Mono Poison or Mono Steel is only going to become more and more likely at this stage of the ladder. But oh man, I just realized I didn't give a chance to explain my fit for this episode here. I'm just running my classic Eagles jersey right now because for those that don't know, I know some of you guys don't care about football at all. I wouldn't expect you to, but the Eagles are famous for being the most toxic fan base in maybe all of sports. We are famous for such acts as throwing batteries at Santa Claus, throwing beer bottles at opposing teams, enemy rivals. We boo everyone, including our own players. We're that charming. I don't condone any of those actions, but unfortunately, just Philadelphia Eagles fans have a pretty miserable reputation. So I felt like, we're getting to the point with these lives where I can't really think of an outfit. I can't run a ninja outfit like Koga. So I was kind of just doing the most toxic thing I could come up with really quick, and that's going to be my Eagles attire, sadly. Let's see if we can get one more game here. It might be a little bit long-winded, but I'm confident we can get one more game to seal things off. Maybe better display the stall nature of things now that we're a little bit better protected. And we're going to come up against Mono Flying, kind of a balanced team. Definitely some matchup to watch out for. This is a key part of why you got to learn the ropes of Mono Poison before you go on, because, you might not know that Landorus there, and you got to keep your Weezing healthy for that one matchup for sure. Thundurus there can really rip you apart without a Slowking Galar. Even with a nasty plot, it's 2-hit KOing you. Celesteela is actually going to be a tricky one to break in general, because Nidoking can swap in, but it doesn't love swapping into Leech Seeds or into Heavy Slams. Pretty nasty. Corviknight can definitely give us trouble. Of course, Mono Flying is not great because we're not dishing out Toxic Spikes damage either. So I'm not going to say it's a favorable matchup, but we're definitely well equipped. Don't mistake me. I really like Weezing as a lead right now. The only question would be if we get that Thundurus right away, which that does concern me if I'm being honest. It does get Psychic too, which would give us a ton of pause. For the most part, I really like this matchup. It's the one. It was good against everything. That's too bad. Let's go to Slowking. If they nasty plot, we could be in for a really rough time. I wonder if the play is to go to Nidoking instead, but it would have Psychic if they're nasty plotting, I'm pretty sure. Drapion, depending on the set, can get O-code by Thundurus. Amoonguss, yeah, Psychic again. It's got to be Slowking Galar. It's the only play. It's the only play. They do Volt Switch. Okay, we're going to be able to absorb that pretty easily. That almost suggests to me it's a Scarf set. Here comes Landorus. Probably going for Rocks right now if I had to guess. We'll go to our Weezing. Probably Defog, but I could also go for hit there. So they U-turn again too, which is a little bit odd. Let's Will-O-Wisp here. I think we handle Heavy Slam not too bad as they Leech Seed. Okay, so Heavy Slam becomes way less concerning, so I'm way more down to go to my Nidoking if that's the case, as they opt for Flamethrower instead. Okay, a bit of a special build, makes sense. This is a case where we're definitely glad to have Ice Beam, because Ice Beam is going to be really huge for breaking Dragonite, but we also have Thunderbolt to break something like Celesteela, so we have coverage against both of those. Let's go for a Thunderbolt right now as we get to a KO range. We absolutely do. The EQ, glad we got the burn. Okay, it's a mixed one. They're going to forfeit. That's kind of lame. Let's see if we can get one more quick one. I'm frustrated. It's the eternal plight of playing playing as a Showdown streamer, is that you're always struggling to get the matchups. I want to demonstrate this, or I want to demonstrate that, and then you don't get what you're looking for. Mono Ghost technically should be a disadvantage matchup for us. This is a team we used in a recent live actually, but Ghost resist poison, but of course we don't have a lot of poison attacks on this team, so we're not too afraid. This is just an extremely offensive, essentially hyper offense team from our opponents. It's going to be all about weathering the storm right now. Toxic Spikes will definitely help. Gengar can swallow it up with its poison typing, but it will help against everything else. Slowking Galar this is the nasty thing though, is that these 3 special attackers, maybe just 1, but these at least 2 special attackers normally be handled by Slowking Galars that kind of do it all special wall. But of course it really can't. It takes Assault Vessel will mean it takes some hits, but it's not gonna be perfect. But Drapion, oh man, Drapion's gonna be so good actually. I think I'm gonna lead off with it. Knockoff's gonna be great. We resist everything. Corsola Galar. I will happily. We could get burned. Do I want to risk a burn here? Like taking a knockoff on Corsola Galar is amazing, but is it worth a burn Drapion who's going to be putting in a ton of work for us? Honestly, it's not a very attack invested Drapion to begin with, so I'm okay with this. Not to mention they might overprotecting over Stealth Rock, so let's do this. I have rest on the guy too, so if he gets status, it's not a long-term situation. So let's go for that. If they don't really have a swap in either, so now Corsola Galar is definitely diminished. I feel pretty confident that we can break it with Nidoking going forward. In fact, I might just go ahead and go to that Nidoking right now. We don't really see a good Earthquake swap in. Maybe Aegislash, to be honest. It could be running Air Balloon. I have this team. I should know if it's running Air Balloon. I should really look. Where are you at, Ghost? There it is. It is Air Balloon. Okay, so that seems like a pretty obvious swap in for me. I'll go for like a nice, safe Thunderbolt. Sludge Wave, of course, is resisted by everything, and it's Aegislash is immune to that. So Thunderbolt is going to be doing good coverage to everything. Maybe Ice Beam is more optimal, but again, I do fear that Aegislash swap in. Yeah, everything's getting hit by this thing. In terms of actually, I don't think they have any psychic attacks. There's Aegislash, so we will get the balloon. That's super nice. We're probably looking at 2-hit KO once all is said and done. Is it a max speed Aegislash? I also want to check. I'm cheating. So it's 240 speed, and we're at 269, so we're fine there. Great, that's actually a huge problem out the way. This Nidoking is looking great already. We'll likely see, who are we gonna see here, man? I don't know. We see Mimikyu. Who do I go to? Gengar though. Gengar, I don't think Gengar can OHKO me, but see, this is a head calc I should have in my head. +1 Blacephalon can OHKO Nidoking. I know that from a previous live where people roasted me for not knowing that. So +1 Blacephalon can OHKO Nidoking. So +1 Gengar shouldn't. It might have Psychic. Does it have Psychic? Does it have Psychic? It doesn't. So am I willing to trade 1-to-1? I think I am. I just talked about how special attacking Ghost States are kind of a problem for us. I think I'm kind of down. Please live, please live. Okay, my head calc paid off. There we go. That's nice. We might get hit with the Cursed Body, but that's going to force probably Spectrier in. Spectrum went straight to my Drapion. They could go to Dragapult too, maybe Mimikyu. Lots of options on their end. I actually would kind of like to keep this guy just for breaking Corsola Galar. Corsola Galar is not going to really threaten us. If you want to stall, if you want to play this stall game here, funds up, we can go tit-to-tap with your Corsola. But it would be nice to have. I mean, even just as a sack, I'd like to keep him healthy. So Mimikyu I'll probably keep Toxapex around for. Dragapult I'll probably keep Weezing Galar around for. Even Amoonguss would handle that fine. We got, again, with these 2 physical breakers, we have 3 splendid physical walls. That's not really a concern. Slowking Galar I might just keep around just because. And then Spectrier, yeah, it's probably going to be Drapion. They do go to Dragapult here. These are almost always Dragon Dance. Now, again, I've got 3 great walls. Which one do I like the most? Foul Play, very handy. Haze, very handy. And a Fairy typing, which is also quite good. All 3 pretty useful. I think I would keep Amoonguss for Mimikyu, and Toxapex is a better special wall in the off chance we need it for Spectrier. So by process of elimination, let's go to Weezing Galar right now. As they Dragon Dance or Substitute, there's a Substitute. All Strange Steam on them. I don't think we really take much from a Phantom Force right now. If they Phantom Force, I'm actually going to be able to get off a Will-O-Wisp. Yeah, I don't think I quite... Oh, no, because it's... No, I miscalculated in my head. Only doing 30% there. That's fine by me. Do a Will-O-Wisp here? I'd say so. They might substitute again, but I don't really lose much in the long term. Spectrier, getting it burned is chip, something. Mimikyu, it's fantastic if we get that. Corsola Galar, yeah, I'll take it. So yeah, I think we're in a pretty advantaged position right now. We have kind of weathered the storm thus far. Nidoking went and put in hella work. Let's talk about my guy for a second there. Nidoking broke the Aegislash, took the Gengar on 1v1 mono a mono. Let's go for a defog. Why not? If you want to burn me, I don't really care. That's fine. That should be a Nidoking swap in that I was looking for earlier. They do Nightshade. Okay, credit to you. We locked off Eviolite. Let's go for you and the future sight will be great. Enemy offense, man, I love future sight as a move. It's so cool. It's restrictive. It's when you're coming against future sight and you're getting clocked by it, it's the most frustrating thing in the world. But when you're using it, it's like, oh man, I'm just 1,000 IQ right now. I see the world differently. Let's flamethrower here, I guess. Dragapult's not really a safe swap in. They're gonna Will-O-Wisp there. That's fine if they want to just sack this matchup. Slowking Galar's not doing too much for us. Doesn't really well spec Trier. Might be helpful versus some of these guys, but not going to be super great. Strength Sap, I think you probably die here with the Future Sight and the Flamethrower. Nope, they're still kicking. Let's get another Future Sight in the books then. Hey, Nightshade. That's fine. So yeah, having this Future Sight hanging over our opponent's head is actually going to be quite nice. There's Dragapult. I'll probably go for a revenge kill with Spectrier here. And again, I don't think I'm going to give it to them. I think I'm going to go straight to my Drapion if that's the case. Max Spadef. This is definitely a key reason why I have that alive. If they go back up to the Dragapult, we still got a Kickin' Wheezing here. If they go to Mimikyu, thinking Amoonguss or Toxapex. Not sure which. Probably Toxapex for that haze. And then, yeah, I think we're in a good spot. We didn't really get to show off Toxic Spikes against this team so much, which is too bad because I do think it's kind of key to how you play a lot of the matchups against, Mono Rain. Having Toxic Spikes up is huge, so nice, depending on what you're up against. But still, not the best display of it. There's all Spectrier. Let's get in Drapion right now. Drapion, if you disappoint me on this roll, I will be so livid. Mudshot does quite a bit, but if you're locking into Mudshot. Again, this is my team. You're probably Scarf. I think I got a knockoff though. There's the Mimikyu. There goes that. We can't really swap into Spectrier anymore. Almost want to rest and sleep talk, man. Yeah, I'll do it. My Toxapex is gonna handle them fine. They lose a turn with that disguise already broken. Play rough might be kind of scary. That's fine. I might even go for sleep talk right now, actually. Maybe greedy. If they Dragon Dart to be a little here, I'd be a little bit upset, but I think my odds are good of pulling either a Whirlwind or a knockoff, which would be fine here if they do a Dragon Dance or whatever. Maybe getting a bit greedy. I've got a very easy swap with my Wheezing Galar right now, but with Rocks and Will-O-Wisp, it's coming down to about 70-some%. Which I should be doing. I'm getting greedy. No point in getting greedy. As they sub up, good on them. They Phantom Force. I should have defogged there. I knew they were going to do that. I had no damn excuse for that play. Oh, but we missed that Strange Scene. 95% accurate. Not that accurate. Another Phantom Force here, maybe? Oh, it doesn't work that way. Defog doesn't work. Okay, fair enough. We're going to get that. Wheezing Glar's going to go down, but there goes the Substitute. Fine by me. Let's go for Pain Split on the off chance they don't Phantom Force here. On this slight off chance. No, I should Strange Steam in case they Substitute. Let's not get dumb. Yeah, okay. Ooh, that would have been frustrating on my part. I could have swapped the Drapion predicting that too. Or even a Amoonguss. But I don't know. This thing's job was to beat Dragapult. I'm fine with that. Very easy foul play right now. Do I Spore? No one's statused. No, foul play because it's a Substitute. Let's not get dumb. Again, this is kind of an extended endgame here, but it's kind of been solved for a while now. Mimikyu is neutral to it thanks to its fairy typing, of course, but doesn't love it, and they can't break us either. So that'll be fine. They do Substitute. They're playing the odds here. They're trying to catch me over predicting, and it's working. Well, it's not working, but they're on the right track because I'm almost doing it. They're thinking it through though. Let's see. Especially we can't really swap into a foul play. Mimikyu, I think it's probably 2-hit KO'd. They can't set up on me, more importantly. I've got Drapion healthy. I mean, maybe the rest on Drapion was a bad play because if I get bad rolls, I could be put in a bad situation here for sure. There's 43 from you. Let's Spore if that's the case. Go for another one. Do we get a top roll? We do. Love to see it. I think with my Spadef, I even take a Spectrier here, so we should be quite secure. Leftovers Dragon Dance Dragapult is interesting because you can do those Substitute like my opponent did there and kind of come away with a lot of HP. Let's do a spore here. Synthesis up. I'm just not going to give them the Spectre. I'm just going to have the game won by Among Us right now. Let's not mess around. GG to my opponent. Okay, another Phantom Force. They're doing it. I'll keep this up. I don't care. Do I look like I care? I don't. I will spore you till the cows come home. Don't think I won't. Maybe they go to Spectre on this play. I don't know. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. That's going to do it for the Showdown Live. I don't think I'll probably be playing Poison Stall next time. Again, I think it's pretty clear how this offense works. But, not offense, the stall works. This is a decent display, all things considered. But there's been a lot of requests for mono poison offense. I think I'm going to give it a shot next time. I don't know what that would look like. Probably not going to be very good, but it seems fun if nothing else. GG's to my opponent here, funds up. Definitely a fun game from them. And I'll see you next time. Let me know, of course, as always, what you want to see in the comments below. That'll influence what I do after I do these mono poison lives. But otherwise, thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.